Here's my spare tank from that spare bike that I bought. The KFX400. This is the drain plug on the one that I took off. The drain plug is completely stripped. I can just sit there and keep turning it by hand. Alright, well, here's what I ended up having to do. So I got the old tank off. This job's taking too long, so I just did it. Took the tank out, the radiators over there on the floor, and got the new one cleaned out, and I'm just going to reassemble, get it put back together so that I can put the radiator back in, move on to get this thing done. Alright folks, so what I have is this giant hone. I need to hone my cylinder here, and before I fit my brand new piston and rings. Whoops. The cylinder and the stones are wet with oil. think you might be able to see in there. Do a little bit more. There is some really nice cross hatching in there, but I'll do some more. So I just went over this a bit more. It is really, really nice, smooth. It's hard to really see because it's still got a lot of, you know, oily residue, but that cleaned up exceedingly nice. It's very smooth. Now I gotta go take this and give it a really good bath with just soap and water, and I'll get this thing cleaned up real nice, get the residue out of it. I'm gonna fit the make sure the piston slides in and out well. I'll clean this, and then I will fit the rings, make sure that they are going to, if they need adjustment or not. So let me go take care of this. Okay, so I got this all cleaned up, and we'll find out how this piston goes through here. Sorry, I got a new action camera, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it. As I've said many, many times before, I have no clue what I'm doing when it comes to videography. So we got a nice brand new Nomura piston. This is standard bore, 89.63 millimeter, something like that. Woohoo! Slides right through there. Very nice. So here we got the rings. There's the circlips, wrist pin. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but down inside, kind of a little bit, there's actually a groove. You can see it in the ring. You know that that's the top ring. So let's measure this. When I'm setting the top ring, I just put it down about as low as what would be the center ring on the piston. Square it up. The lighting's not great. You can see the gap there. The top ring should have .014, and that's what it's got. So we're good there. And the second ring, I'll push the piston down to the very bottom of the piston top, right along here. Will be flush here, and that's supposed to be .016. Seems to be a little tight. Oop, knocked you guys over. All right. So actually, that is a .015. Now I am not going to space that out any further. I think that's plenty. 0.001 thousandths is not the end of the world for this. So, especially when I'm dealing with such a older machine, and I just don't really have to worry about it. But I'll tell you what, that cylinder came out nice. And yeah, if you ever do it, just make sure that your cylinder is oiled, your stones are oiled. Don't ever put the stones in and run it dry. That's not a good thing. So I'm gonna be okay with this. I need to still clean it up, get the old gasket residue off, if I can get even any more of it off. Bottom is perfectly fine. I do have a whole new gasket set for the top end. Outlaw Racing products. Water pump, exhaust, valve seals, and then the cylinder and head gasket there. So that'll be coming up. All right, my friends, as you can see, I have my Ice Mountain sparkling water. So as some of you know, I have a spare KFX400. So out of curiosity, I went ahead and off camera, I honed the cylinder that came in that spare bike and cleaned it up really well. Seems to be a bit more issues with this one. It's pretty grooved. There's a good score mark right down in here. You can actually, can you see that? Right there. I can actually feel that with my finger. It's very noticeable. If somebody was in a real bad pinch, they could probably use this cylinder, but I'm not going to. I did it in order to know whether or not it was any good, to see if it was even any better than the one that came off this particular four-wheeler. It is not better, so therefore I'm not using it. This one I don't believe is factory, because there is no cylinder or VIN number or whatever would be there, like this one here. This one actually has numbers stamped in it. So this one was aftermarket anyway. So I'm gonna get this ready to put back on the bike. I am simultaneously, where you at? Recording on my Akaso Brave 8. I don't know how to really use it, so I'm just recording, and then I'll look at it in the computer and see if I can actually use it for anything. First off, let's get the base gasket on there. This is the, there's three there. If you can see that. Anyway. Now I'm using some Klotz assembly lube. I'm just going to coat the inside of the cylinder with a little bit. I kind of jumped the gun there. I guess I probably ought to put the rings on the piston, put the piston on here. You think? So the oil rings, I don't know if you will be able to see it, but right here is where the oil ring comes together. Now it's not overlapped. Don't overlap these. And then it says about 1 inch from that gap on either side, there and there. It might be a little over an inch, inch and a half, inch and a quarter, something like that. Not a big deal. Basically, don't line all three of them up. Otherwise, you won't have much compression. This is the second ring. See, the numbers are up. I just want to walk this around. I put it at about 45 degrees away from the oil ring, and then the top ring. The top ring actually has a lip on it. You can kind of see it right there. It's hard to see, but I'm going to put that about 45 degrees away from in the opposite direction. And there you have it. So again, the expansion ring and the two scrapers. You got one scraper gap, the other scraper gap, and in between would be the expansion. So about 45 degrees over, I've got the top ring gap, and twist it back the other way. There's the middle ring. So I'm going to get some lube on this and then put it on the bite, or put it on the rod. I'm going to put one circlip in. Got that down in there, properly seated. I don't know if you can see this, but there's an arrow right there that's going to point to the exhaust. All right. It's time to get the cylinder on here. Finally. Man, that was a royal pain. I could not get those rings held together long enough to get that cylinder over it. Finally, it happened. So, now the next thing.